Yes, yes, yes. Mr. Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio, and we are live. Okay, it's been a while since we've done a live. How long has it been? I don't know. I haven't been checking. Man's been busy. You know what I mean? Busy with work, and yeah, getting on with it, focusing on the prime things, primary, not the secondary or the thirdary, the primary, tertiary, right? The primary. Um, did make a video for a few weeks, and then I thought, nah, can't do this to the people. You promised. You made a promise to serve the people, serve them up some good home cooked food. Don't really scan. Don't really scan to see what the next man's saying. Really and truly, I ain't got the time. Rafi ain't got the time. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, couldn't really not deliver on a weekend like this, and it was a crazy weekend for me. I decided I ain't really gone out too much since COVID. I was talking to a lady I know, and yeah, fine specimen, I must say. And she agrees with me that since COVID kept people locked up inside for a lot of the time. Not me. I mean, I was out, I was playing, gyms closed down. Remember the first lockdown when the gyms closed down? I think even the second lockdown, the gyms closed down. But I was out there. The weather was good, so I was out there. Rafi was out there playing tennis and riding his bike, push bike, that is. Yeah, that's what I was doing. So I was out active, but nighttime, things were shut down, locked down. And I never really got back into the habit of going out that I previously had. And like I said, I was talking to a fine looking lady, very fine specimen. And she was saying the same damn thing. She says even now she hasn't started going back out again. She said she just can't. She likes the idea, but she's out of the habit. You know what I'm saying? So the Rafi made a concerted effort, shot a few texts out, see who was up for it. And yeah, couple of old brethren who I haven't seen in 2-3 years said, yeah, let's do it. Another one said a couple of weeks' time. Another one said in a month's time. You know what I'm saying? Or you had to go out, just shake the cobwebs off. Went for a couple of drinks. That's all I needed. The company was great, but the DJ was terrible, absolutely terrible. We just pushed that to the side and said, well, listen, it's been good meeting up, had a good chat, and we'll do it again real soon. Were you practicing for Wimbledon? I thought you was referring to the white. Rafi wore all white yesterday, and I felt a bit self-conscious. White top, white shorts, and I thought, what the hell's going on? Might as well bring my tennis racket to the gym. Felt a little bit awkward, but hey, you know what I mean? You just got to do you. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, it was terrible DJ. Absolutely terrible. Made me feel, damn, we should have gone somewhere else. But hey, you know what I'm saying? He still made the effort, and it was still a good night. But anyway, let me copy the link and get the link in. Get the link in so people can join. What's going on there? Anybody there? We walking in the air. Only just bam, son. Another good fight card over the weekend. The Mid-Easterners know how to put on Middle Easterners know how to put on a great boxing event. Well, I was out. I missed it. That's another reason I was pissed. I missed the damn show. I was out. I thought by the time I get back in from the drink, from the night out, the fight I was looking to most would probably just be starting. And that was Martin Bakole versus Jared Anderson. That was the fight. That was the fight for me. That was going to be the fight of the night even before the event happened. I had that earmarked as the fight of the night because I was very confident. I was very confident that your American boy, Jared Anderson, wasn't going to be up to snuff. Not yet. He wasn't going to be up to snuff. He didn't have the preparation. Didn't have the preparation to deal with the likes of the lineal heavyweight champion, sparring champion of the world, Martin Bakole from the Congo, now living in Scotland. His adopted home, trained by Billy Nelson. What's this here? Dearly beloved, today we gather to honor and mourn the passing of American heavyweight boxing as we reflect on the great memories which we have at this sad time to mourn the loss. R.I.P. OMG. I said it in the video. Are we looking at, I actually said we are looking at the ice age, the coming ice age of the American heavyweight boxing scene. Are we heading into an ice age? OMG. I thought Michael Hunter's career was toast, but it looks like he has a chance to redeem it against Bakole in the rematch. Well, I'm not really a massive fan of rematches, immediate rematches, but I don't mind rematches that take place somewhere down the line. I'm kind of cool with it. I'd be happy to see that rematch because we know Martin Bakole was fighting with a compromised shoulder. His shoulder was compromised in that first fight with Michael Hunter. And so I didn't think that was a fair and accurate representation of Martin Bakole. But Martin Bakole going in with two good shoulders and two good fists. I would like to see that fight. I don't know if there aren't more compelling fights out there. I'd love to see Martin Bakole against Zilly Zhang Bang. Big Bang, Zilly Zhang Bang. I'd love to see that fight more than I'd like to see the Michael Hunter fight. Excuse me. But yeah, that's something we're going to talk about and something we're going to get into. But once again, I will reiterate. Rafi's night got ruined by a bad DJ. I could have Bluetoothed my damn phone on to the damn sound system and had the crowd jumping better. But hey, it bees like that sometimes. At least you meet up with old friends. Talking about old friends. In comes the man like the Leon Figures. The Leon Figures. How do you do?
I'd be splendid, Mr. Dawkins. How is you?
Well, I think I'm doing good, man. I think I'm doing good.
Good to hear. It was a great fight card over the weekend.
Well, I can't claim to have seen the card, Leon. I can't claim because I came in and I was vexed because I came in and I looked at the rundown, the fight order, the fight list prior to going out, and I said, yeah, I should be back for the start of Bakole v. Anderson. And when I turned on my TV, it was Andreas the Punch Ruiz versus Big Belly Miller, the other big baby. And we have to ask, who is the real big baby? Who is it? You know what I mean? So I didn't even see the card. I totally missed Bakole v. Anderson. Totally missed that shizzle. And then, and that was the fight of the night. That was the fight I was looking forward to most. I sensed explosiveness written all over it. I sense the demolition by Lawrence, by Bakole, sorry, by Martin Bakole, and I said so in my video prior to the fight. So nobody can say Rafi's coming with it now. Nah, Rafi came with it from back then. I done told you. Anybody who saw the video will know. I predicted there was a storm coming. There was a storm coming. And that storm, that would be Hurricane Martin Bakole, Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more up in the building. How do you do? The link's there. Feel free to jump in. Mr. Code says Americans have dominated the heavyweight history of boxing. The world can have their time to shine. Every dog has its day. America still has the 10 best heavyweights of all time. Yeah, bro, but come on now. Listen, you know, you had the Klitschko era. That wasn't long ago. That was European based. That wasn't long ago. Based out of Cologne, Germany, via the Ukraine. You know what I mean? And now it looks like you're heading into another ice age, brother. I feel for you. But any grown man calling themselves big baby is questionable. OMG. So I can't claim to have seen the whole card. I most certainly have not. But I did go back, and I was fortunate enough to see the whole of the Lawrence Martin Bakole versus Jarrell Miller. I called the heavyweight action. Talking about the heavyweight action, you know, it just confirms to me that even though probably my favorite fighter right now, Crawford, was fighting, that wasn't the fight that I was looking forward to most. It was this. It was Bakole versus Anderson. There's something about the heavyweight action. You put all them fighters in the ring, and let them fight it out. And it's going to be a heavyweight who walks out, who stands on top of the pile of bodies. That's the reality. But Leon Figures, talk to me. I hope you're doing well.
Very well. Yeah. I caught the fight on the playback. I woke up in time for the co-main and the main, the Pitbull Cruz, Valenzuela, and then Crawford Majimov.
Yeah.
Then today I caught up with the Anderson and Bakole and Miller and Ruiz.
Mm-hmm.
So which one do you want to start with? Which one of those?
We got to start from the TOP. We got to start from the fight of the card. We got to start from the fight of the night, the fight of the weekend. We got to start with Bakole versus Jared Anderson. Talk to me.
Okay, first thing I'd say is I much more enjoyed the main event.
Okay.
But let's stick to Bakole Anderson.
Yeah.
I think it was an entertaining fight, in as much as similar to the Chisora Joyce was an entertaining, because it was they're both deficiencies worked well to play out into a good slugfest.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Anderson was just not able to move his head off the line. He moved back in straight lines. His head movement was slacking. He made Martin Bakole's hands look lightning.
Yeah.
Bakole has got slow feet. I mean, the heavyweights, three of the four heavyweights was just in terrible shape. And he just kind of has this plodding movement. But it was good to watch. There were some great shots. The shots were technically better than the Joyce and Chisora. Anderson was getting some great shots in. He was lighting him up at some stage. So it made me question Anderson's power. But Bakole was just like a steam train, just kept going, and he just broke Anderson's will. I mean, you see one shot where he just caught him with an uppercut, and it sent all the perspiration from his head just flying. You could like almost see his soul leaving his body. And it was just downhill from there for Big Baby Anderson. But no, fun fight, all the thing. It's Yeah, it was a fun fight, but mainly because of their deficiencies.
I'll tell you another guy who had slow feet. You talked about Bakole's slow feet. I'll tell you another guy who had slow feet. How about Big George Foreman?
Yes, very much so. But Big George Foreman has.
I might take issue with that.
Hold on. Let Leon finish. I'm going to come to you, John.
George Foreman has the accomplishments, so he made it work. Bakole hasn't done anything yet. So
yet.
Yeah,
You're talking about the lineal heavyweight sparring champion of the world. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you listen to Billy Nelson's sparring stories, that the guy's undefeated in those. But I remember Hunter lighting him up, and making the guy quit.
He had a gammy shoulder, man. Cut the guy some slack.
I mean, I was just watching that, talking about accomplishments. When I was watching it, I remember thinking to myself, he doesn't fare well against the top heavyweights. I think he's competitive for the top. Bakole, he's competitive for the top 5. He can't get anywhere near Usyk. Usyk just lights him up and dances around him. Joshua knocks him out. He'll just get to him eventually. He's fitter than him. He's able to hit him. Joshua was able to fight on the back foot and just wait for him to get tired. Just pepper him with hooks and uppercuts and jabs. I see Fury just being able to outmuscle him. Even Fury, I think, gives Bakole all kinds of problems. So I think, mentioning George Foreman being slow, that's what I'm just saying. I just do not see Bakole doing anything. I'm not sure what his age is, whether he can wait out, and whether he can wait out
You just compared him with the top 3 heavyweights, though.
Yeah, that's one. But they're the ones who are who will need to beat their belt.
But what about? Couldn't he be 4th?
Leon.
No, I'm saying he's up there. No, I just said he's very competitive with the top 5. Anyone in the top 5 is very competitive.
I've got an interesting fight.
Go for it.
Bakole Zhang.
Brilliant fight. Absolutely love it.
I think that would be a really good fight, and that would kind of settle who the sort of plodding behemoth is and then they can step up and see how they fare.
Yeah, that'll be great. And they're all on these Saudi cards. So that is a very, very big possibility. I mean, they seem to be pushing the Hunter rematch.
They're pushing the Hunter rematch, but I'd rather see Zhang.
I think that Hunter rematch is because they're trying to woo the Americans, but it won't work. They're too American-centric. They'll just refocus on the lighter weights like they have done.
I mean, you do kind of need... I remember one time they spoke about there was a World Cup. It might have been a USA one. It was one England didn't qualify for. And all the other tournaments are saying, it's just not quite the same when England's not there. Without the media fanfare, it's just not the same. And the heavyweight division, it is missing something without an American, like a competitive American in there. So it's I think
the Americans are still going to be there. They're just going to be getting their ass whooped. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I've kind of got a major point about this. So, who is the last great American heavyweight champion? Because it's one or two people, and I'd be interested to see what your thoughts on who that actually is.
Who came after Mike Tyson?
Holyfield.
Yeah, but he's not really heavyweight, is he?
Well, he became a heavyweight. I mean, if you say
but either way,
if you say it's not heavyweight, then you got to say Usyk ain't a heavyweight. So it's a heavyweight.
Either way, you can argue that Iron Mike isn't really a heavyweight in today's sort of size. My real point about this.
You can't say that. Then if you say that, then you have to say.
Let me land it first, Rafi.
You have to say Joe Louis wasn't a heavyweight.
Let me land it first, Rafi.
Yeah, but
before you get too excited,
I can't go with the premise. I can't go with the premise.
Let me land it before you get too excited.
Lando, bro, I can't go with the premise.
Okay, well, I'm going to land it now,
all right.
and you can make your own mind up.
All right.
Now, I think Holyfield is probably the last great American heavyweight. But if you look at him, he was like, 6'2"? And he was never a big heavyweight.
He was a small heavyweight.
And the reason that they've been producing small heavyweights since then, and in today's standards, Anderson's an undersized heavyweight.
Yeah.
Is because of the appeal of the NBA and the NFL. There's no hiding from it. The last American heavyweight champion, they were only able to prop up by severe protection, and he was a failed basketball player.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What I'm really getting at is, at the sort of teenage age in America, if you look like you're going to be 6'5", 6'6", and athletic, you're going to either go down the NBA or the NFL route, and at least try and get a college degree out of that. And boxing can't compete with that. It just can't. And I think that's why we're seeing the demise of heavyweight boxing in America, and the domination of America in the sort of welterweight division. Because if you're a welterweight, there isn't really a place for you in the American football or the NBA.
Yes, and I think,
and that's really what my point was. It wasn't whether Holyfield or Iron Mike aren't really heavyweights. It's whatever way you look at it, they're not big heavyweights.
I mean, I think that's Jared Anderson's whole approach is a symptom of that, because he just struck me as somebody whose heart wasn't in it. He didn't like he was hurt by the defeat either. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go into my family. He's just fight. He just had. I still got paid. I just didn't think he cared. And the interview with Roy Jones, like he couldn't.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
Yeah, he couldn't handle the pressure of it. It's, but I totally agree. Yeah, they're all the great heavyweights are in the NFL. And they're probably earning triple the amount that a champion could earn
easily,
being a second or third pick.
Easily.
So it's like it just makes.
And if they fail, they get a college degree.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. So I think that's the fundamental problem with American heavyweight boxing. And then you look at how they absolutely dominate welterweight. Well, these guys are too small to do any of those sports. They don't really have that option.
Yeah, there's no disagreement.
So that's what I was trying to land, Raf.
Yeah, but then the premise was that was like a Sun title. That was
I was trying to go for the clickbait.
The title didn't match the content of the actual.
I'm a big Evander Holyfield fan, and I'm a massive Iron Mike fan. I grew up watching them both fight. They're both true greats of the sport. I've got no issue with that. But neither of them were 6 foot. They haven't really produced a truly good 6'5" plus heavyweight, have they? So if you go from when Lennox Lewis dominated and sort of the scale of heavyweights changed, they've not been in the running. That's really what my argument is. And for whoever said that America still has the top 10 all-time great heavyweights, I think they're seriously overlooking Mr. Lennox Lewis, who I have at number 4.
Yeah, seriously overlooking Lennox Lewis. I mean, in the last 30 years, what we had the Klitschko era, then we had the Lennox Lewis era. Who came after Lennox? Well, hold on, you had Mike Tyson, had a little spell, but that wasn't an era. But that was a shorter era. Then you had the longer Lennox Lewis era. Who came? Oh, Vladimir came after.
It's Vitaly and Vlad, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, Vitaly and Vlad came after Lewis. Okay, so you had the Larry Holmes, you had the Muhammad Ali era, and then you had the Larry Holmes era, and then
Mike Tyson's really after Larry.
Tyson was after Larry Holmes, and then Lennox Lewis, and then after Lennox Lewis came the Klitschko's.
Skipping Evander Holyfield.
Oh yeah, Evander Holyfield.
He didn't really have a long.
He had undisputed.
He didn't have a long.
He didn't have a long era. He didn't have a long run. He didn't have an era. I mean, he got beat 3 times by Riddick Bowe. 2 times. Sorry, he got beat. He fought Riddick Bowe 3 times. And got
That's not
beat.
to say that it was a competitive era.
Sorry,
It was a competitive era where things stood out.
You wouldn't call it the Holyfield era, though, would you?
Well, I couldn't call it the Holyfield era. I couldn't do that.
I think really
I couldn't call it the Riddick. I couldn't call it the Riddick Bowe era either.
When it all comes out in the wash, that's part of Lennox Lewis's legacy because he was the last man standing.
Yeah.
He beat Holyfield. He beat Iron Mike.
For real.
Bowe ducked him. Really, when you say it's all said and done, Lewis was the best of that era, wasn't he?
He was.
He knew when to leave the party after that Klitschko bout where he struggled.
Yeah.
He knew to retire on the top. He got his win.
But how old was he?
He left at the top.
He was in retirement age, but a lot of them still carry on too long, don't they?
Yeah.
He's one of the few that did it right, really.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's very few that knows when to leave the party.
H Money up in the building. Jump on, brother. Jump on and talk that shizzle. Talk that shizzle. Rafi Bud got exposed by a bum with only 10 fights. Jerron Ennis will knock him out. Come on, talk. Come on, live. Talk that shizzle. Talk
it's
that
a different weight with bigger gloves. Yeah. You know you have to move up to 10-ounce gloves once you get to light middle.
For real.
Before, Terence has been fighting with 8-ounce gloves. If he goes and fights John Ennis, he puts the 8-ounce gloves back on. I don't think he got exposed. I don't see how that happened.
No, come on, H Money. You're underestimating Magradov or whatever his name is.
He's not a bum.
He's no way a bum. He had a long and distinguished amateur career. He was seasoned. You know them boys from the outback, from the woods of Russia. You know them boys, them hillbilly boys there. You know they got that hillbilly strength. You know them hillbilly, that Russian hillbilly strength, man. Come on,
the Americans, Mr. Dawkins, they have zero respect for anything.
Yeah,
Europe.
You got to give them Russian hillbillies their respect.
It's interesting how H Money suddenly doesn't want to talk about heavyweight boxing when that's all I ever heard him talk about.
What about heavyweight boxing? H Money? Come on, brother. You know the link's there. The link's there. It's there for your use.
Because I mean, to me, if you look at how Anderson's been matched, he's like 6'4", 78-inch reach, and he's only been fighting people smaller than him. The one time he fights a bigger man, he struggled, and that was Charles Martin. Charles Martin is a decent second-tier heavyweight, isn't he? He's not top 10.
Yeah.
He's like probably in the top 15, top 20, something like that. He's a respectable guy to fight on your come up. He's not a bum, for no matter what anybody says, and he's a southpaw. But that was a bit of a warning light that this guy, why he's undersized as a heavyweight, and you've been giving him small fighters to feast on. And it was a bit of a repeat of what happened to Dubois, to be honest, because he's about the same dimensions as Dubois. So when Dubois stepped up to fight Joe Joyce, it was a shock because he'd been feasting on small heavyweights.
Is his
and I don't think that's a good way to bring them on. Say that again, Leo.
Do you think his power is questionable?
Whose power?
Jaron Anderson.
I don't think he's got power.
That's what I was saying, because he was landing clean on Bakole, and Bakole.
All this talk of his power has been based on who he's been fighting. Because I think Dubois' power is heavily overrated. If you think about the people that he's knocked out, who they actually are, I mean, one of them has fought Triple G. Or that Japanese guy, isn't he a former Triple G opponent? I mean, he's fought some real small, fat cruiserweights, Dubois. Those are the people he's knocked out clean. I mean, there's no way Nathan Gorman's got any business walking around the heavyweight division. What is he, 6'2", and he's only the way he is because he can't put the plate down.
Yeah.
He's got absolutely no business outside the cruiserweight division whatsoever.
Yeah,
And okay, it was a good fight, and it's an excellent win to beat Hrgovic, but he didn't really put a dent in him. He sort of ground him into the ground, and Hrgovic, I don't think, has got any bottle. I don't think he's got any heart, and he couldn't be bothered. He folded. He capitulated.
Yeah, he did fold. He did fold.
But he didn't like separate him from his senses, did he, Dubois?
No, he just separated him from his heart.
Yeah, exactly.
He's really. So, are you predicting that he's really going to get exposed against Joshua?
Who's going to get exposed? Dubois.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be competitive at all. You cannot eat punches like that. He's got a 4-inch reach disadvantage. He's got a hand and foot. He's got a speed disadvantage both in hand and foot, and he doesn't move his head.
What does he do better than Joshua?
I'm not convinced he does anything better than Joshua.
Look at all those right hands he was eating early in the first 3 rounds against Hrgovic.
I don't think he's got a better heart. I don't think
he's got a better jab.
Better recovery skills, maybe, because Joshua can take a while to recover if he's been rocked.
He seems to have got better at managing that though.
Yeah, but then when you had that interesting tweet about why hasn't he signed up for VADA, you started to think, yeah, we started to see this major improvement in Dubois.
Well, maybe not. I mean, that might have just been Frank Warren being tight. It's expensive thing to pay for. It's not cheap. Maybe not, but I don't think the improvements were as marked as everybody says, because I didn't rate Hrgovic in the first place. So all he's done really is bite down on his gum shield in that fight. He hasn't actually done anything that different. He just fought through adversity, and maybe it's just his dad being there.
The change, I think one of the major changes, apart from his dad being there, which could be a major change, one of the major changes I think was a mental change. I think that Don Charles worked on Daniel Dubois mentally. I think if you're gonna be a boxer, you almost have to say, okay, to hell with my brain cells. I have to accept the fact that I'm going to, at some time, at some place along the line, I am going to take punches which could quite possibly later on down the line in my life could be quite debilitating. I think if you're going to be a serious boxer, you have to accept that. You have to accept that. You have to put common sense aside. You have to put a certain amount of intellect aside and realize that you're in a sport that will most likely diminish your mental capabilities somewhere down the line. And I think that some guys have difficulty with that. I think Daniel Dubois had difficulty with just accepting that fact. And I think the major difference is Don Charles has just said, listen, you're in this now. You got to go through it. You're going to get scars. You're going to get knocked down. You may likely get knocked out at times, but this is the game you chose to be in. Now, if you want to rise to the top, you have to accept all the above. You have to accept all the above. The scars, the debilitating nature of the game, the fact you're going to get knocked out at some point in front of the whole wide world. And I think Don Charles has got into his head. And Dubois literally used his head against Hrgovic at times. I just have to address this comment from High Interest. He said, I was laughing hard. What does this ASL mean? At them traffic wars you was having. Listen, there's something quite fascinating to me about driving. I even, as I'm just driving by, I'm even looking at the personalities of the people around me, the other drivers. I had some contact lenses in. I just started wearing contact. I just got some new contact lenses. I haven't worn contact lenses for 5 years. I just wear them socially, for social events. So I was driving to a place that I'd never drove to before, so I didn't know the road with contact lenses in my eyes for the first time in 5 years. And, it takes your perception, your spatial awareness and all this stuff with the contact lenses different from glasses. So I was having to recalibrate, retune. And I thought, well, I'm going to drive very conservatively here, very conservatively. and I had this strange vibe from the cars around me. I had this weird vibe. I couldn't tell what it was. It was just a strange vibe that I was picking up from the cars around me. And I thought, you know what? This don't suit me. There's something strange about this. So I just, just put my foot down a little bit and just eased off and went where I was going at my normal pace. Not speeding, but just at a good pace, a good canter. And I kind of left them people behind. I left them behind. It's like I shook them off. And at one point, I came up to a traffic light, and there's a car. I got there first. I was in the middle lane. A car crept up to my left, and then this car crept up super slow to my right, and I was aware of it. And oftentimes, I just have a little look through the corner of my eye, seeing what's going on, and the occupant of the car to my right seemed overly interested in the Raffy. So I just kind of put an arm up to block any kind of eye contact. And then when the light changed to green, you know what happened? I decided I wasn't going to move. I was going to let them drive off first, the one to the left and the one to the right. And you know what they did? When the light changed to green, they didn't move either.
Oh, no.
So am I imagining this shizzle? I don't think so. I think it's real. I think the Raffy's perception is just kind of crazy. So after a couple of seconds, I thought, okay, I'll move off, and I breezed off. But the fact that I didn't move when the light turned to green, and so they didn't move, it's kind of weird to me. It's kind of weird to me. So driving to me is just so interesting on so many levels. It's just the personalities around. It's very strange. It's freaky. It's entertaining to me. Driving is a form of entertainment just because of the movements of the other people around me. I find it quite fascinating. Another quick story. I was driving back from somewhere late one night, and I was driving fast. And then there was this car in the down yonder, and it must have been driving very fast because it was determined to catch me. It's common. You're driving alone on the night in the motorway or wherever, and there's a car appears in the background, and it's almost like they're determined. I must catch that car ahead. So it was coming up to some speed lights, and I knew this. It was a motorway coming up to some speed lights, so I let this car catch me. And then I didn't put the brakes on, but I just took my foot off the accelerator. And then he came behind me, and then he realized that we were going slower and slower and slower. And you know what he did? He stayed behind me, even though he'd been speeding all this time. And now all of a sudden, he's behind me. I've took my foot off the accelerator, and I'm going slower and slower and slower. It took this guy a while to process it. And in the end, when I was going to about 30 miles an hour on the highway, this motorway, the guy decided, okay, I better go now. So he pulled out from behind me and left. But that just shows the relationship that goes on when you're driving your car, mind your own business, but other people want to somehow get in the bubble. Why didn't he just carry on driving? Speed. He's depending on a next man to show him the way. He thought he was just going to drive behind me and I'm just going to lead the way from that. You carry on, you get your speeding ticket, kid. So driving.
They don't think you're an undercover police officer, Mr. Dawkins.
Say that again.
They don't think you're an undercover police officer. Maybe you will give them a ticket if they zoom past you.
No, it's just that he's driving to most people. It's just an individual thing, but to me, it's like it's not individual at all because you're doing your thing, but other people are concerned about what you're doing for some strange reason. I never understood that. When I'm driving, I'm going about my way, minding my business, going about my way. But it seems I've got so many stories of weird occurrences with strangers. You're driving, you think you're alone, but you're not really alone. People are making decisions based on what you do. It's quite fascinating to me.
I think the cause of it is, Mr. Dawkins, I compare it to football. Driving has got so many rules, and so many people drive. Very few people know all the rules.
Yeah.
They've all got their own rules. So the same way you get football fans screaming at referees, and opposition and players arguing about each other. Everybody thinks they're doing the right thing, and everybody else is doing the wrong thing. And that's where road rage comes into it. Because if the
Yeah.
two guys that jump out of the car and start fighting or do whatever, they
Yeah.
both think they're 100% in the right,
Yeah.
and neither of them probably are.
Yeah.
You know, I've tried to explain to my mother. She was like, I was driving in the right hand lane at 50 miles an hour, and people going mad. And I
Please
was
get
like,
out of
Mum,
that.
it's an if you're not overtaking, you shouldn't be in the lane. It's an
That will
overtaking
upset
lane.
most people.
No, but she argued with me about it, and then do you know what happened? She got a ticket for going too slow, and I said, exactly. You're not allowed to do that. It's an if you're not overtaking, you shouldn't be in that lane. I was like, there's nuances to things. Yes, there's a speed limit, but you are not the police. It's not for you to drive in a bloody right-hand lane and sit there and demand everybody else goes at 50.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do that.
It's dangerous.
It's thank you. That's why she got a ticket. I said it is dangerous. You know, the
There's a
same way
lane for 50 miles an hour, and that's the inside lane.
The inside
that you
lane.
stick on. If you want to drive for that speed, stick on the inside, and you only
What
move.
was their argument for driving on the outside at the inside lane and the inside speed?
That is the speed limit, and that was just the lane she was in. It's just a classic. I'm going to sound so sexist, but classic woman argument about driving.
Where's the wife, Leon? Make sure she's not listening.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. I told her at the time. Another thing, because she's one of these. What do I call them? I was sitting down, right? I was watching women's football. Now, this was like years ago.
Why did you do that?
Oh,
It was
it's
on
all
Sunday.
gone wrong.
I was
As soon as
chilling.
you open up with that statement, it's
Wow.
already gone.
Carry on.
No, but listen, let me finish the story. It was just on one day. I was chilling.
Yeah.
It was on. So my mum's came in, and she goes, "Oh, the women's football, they should get paid the same as the men." and then I instantly said to her, "The reason they don't," I said, "the men are paid because men watch them play football, so they get advertising because they watch them. So I said, if you want the women to get paid, like watch the match." And she went, "Oh no, I can't. I don't want to watch it." So I was like, "Well, you're the problem." I said, "You are the feminist problem."
Yeah.
So what you want because the truth is, women spend more money than men. So if women watch women's sports the same way men watch men's sports, women will be getting paid more than men.
Yeah.
So they're the damn problem. You don't bloody support them.
Yeah.
So what you want us men who are watching?
There's a whole world of the Kevin
women.
Samuels sphere dedicated to this whole issue. But to my mind, the sort of silver bullet to this argument is the male footballers don't get paid the same. Ronaldo doesn't get paid what people in the second division get paid.
And that's the reason, because
exactly it's the reason.
Yeah, he generates revenue, so it's commercially driven. It's not bloody gender driven. It's commercially driven. If women, as shit as women's football is, if women watched it and supported it, they'd get paid lots more because women spend more.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even need to pay them out.
I mean, it's the same argument that's put forward about Clarissa Shields, isn't it? It's like, well, men don't really want to watch you fight, and women are interested in boxing, full stop.
Well, hold on. There's a far simpler argument and more accurate argument, which is that you get paid what you generate.
That's it. That's exactly what's being said, isn't it?
As simple as that. Women's sport doesn't generate that which men's sport do. And so women get paid what they generate, and men get paid what they generate, but men generate more. Simple economics.
If you look at the sport that does generate money for women, it's tennis. And that's a sport that women do watch. And men watch it as well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of combined, isn't it? So we don't know. You get what I mean? It's like...
But I know lots of women that will watch Wimbledon and watch tennis. And that is
like saying watching the World Cup, isn't it? Because
it isn't. It isn't. But that's just this country. Like if you're in France, both sexes watch the French Open. It's the same with the American and Australia.
See, to me, you're a tennis fan if you'd watch all of the Grand Slams.
Well, that's fine. But when I'm just talking about revenue getting generated, because they have those massive competitions across all those different countries, it creates enough of revenue and following to pay the participants good money if they're at the top level, irrespective of gender.
The only sport that I would be comfortable, other than netball, or dedicated female sports, the only sport that I'd be comfortable with the women making more money than the men, maybe two sports: ice skating and beach volleyball.
I was waiting for the volleyball one.
Them beach volley girl gals,
They earn their money.
them beach volleyball gals, they're next level, man. They're next level. I appreciate it.
Well, actually, the full team volleyball can be quite good as well.
Because even with tennis, we were talking about fairness. Do you remember that tennis player, the Russian? Was it Kornikova?
Yeah.
No, it was Navratilova.
No, Kornikova. I know.
He hasn't won anything.
The pretty one. The pretty one.
Yes,
exactly.
She had loads of money.
She was cute as hell.
But she never won anything.
That's the same in lots of areas. I mean, Joshua doesn't make all the money that he makes because of his boxing skills, really, does he?
But this is my point. Life isn't fair. Like some people are blessed with certain privileges. You know, it's
certain attributes. Certain attributes.
Things you're just born with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. God-given attributes.
Yeah.
Like
and
you're
that's
born
why
with your height. You're born with your height, and as a man, if you're taller, you get privileges because of it, and if you're short, you get disadvantages.
Yes.
You know,
demerits.
You can't control that.
Where does short kick in, Leon?
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm so like self-centered. I'm 6 foot, and I call anyone beneath me short, and anyone above me tall.
That's right.
When people say to me I'm tall, I'm like, I'm not tall. I just see myself as like, I just range everything off of that. So I feel short.
Well, I'm the same height as you, Leon, and I pretty much take the same stance. But I think
take the same stance. I'm taller than both of you, and I take the same stance.
Yeah, I do think that the scales moved as well, even in my lifetime.
Yeah, definitely.
When I was in my 20s, 6 foot probably was tall.
Yeah.
And these days, it's really just kind of in the middle.
Average, isn't it? Yeah, it's like,
it's in the middle. And it's the same with driving. We're going to get out of the driving analogy with this one. I'll leave this one with you. What's the joke? The joke is that the wife says about the husband, anybody who drives slower than him is an idiot, and anybody who drives faster than him is a damn maniac.
And that is it. Everyone's got their own rules in the car.
Yeah.
It's their own little. It becomes their own little moving universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where they make the rules.
Sometimes these universes. Yeah.
Yeah, they decide when they can be broken.
And
anybody else that does something, you see them like getting wound up by things other people are doing.
Yeah.
It's not affecting them. But you know, and you're just watching their blood boil, and it's just.
Yeah.
And then you get into the fact of whether someone's in the car, whether they just had an argument, whether they're actually having an argument with somebody in the car, whether they drive into a job or from a job that they hate, you know, whether they're in a rush and somebody's driving slow, whether some, you know, it's just all these different elements.
For real.
I'm surprised that people aren't killing each other on the damn roads every day.
For real. My priority now is just I just drive safely. Sometimes I drive fast, but it's not like I'm driving fast from the beginning of the journey to the end of the journey. I might just have a quick spurt, you know, so boom, I'll just do that and then just put my foot off the accelerator and just ease back to normal speed.
There's times when driving fast is the safest thing to do. Like
I like to get away from people sometimes. I like to get away from people sometimes. Like I was just saying, I was driving and I felt this weird vibe amongst all these people. I just put my foot down and just left them behind and I felt much better.
Yeah. I mean, my philosophy was in lockdown, I sold my bloody 4x4 because they were in London. You got these flipping ULEZ charges.
Yeah, we got them up here in
Birmingham. And I just got myself a nice cheap bloody car. So now I don't care. Like, I just drive. So it's just, you know, anything. I'll park anywhere. I'm absolutely fine. Do you get what I mean? So things don't bother me now.
You've seen my Instagram. You've seen my parking triumph on Instagram today.
Lovely. Lovely. My car's about half the size of yours. I can park anywhere. It's lovely.
You see my parking triumph today. You see me get in the car. Say again.
People seeing me get in my car's hilarious. I just look way too big for it. No, it's lovely. I'm used to it now. It's just, it was a bit weird at first.
What, the big car or the small car?
The small car.
Oh, you got a small car now.
The small car, yeah. I mean, I did before. I had I had two. At one stage, I had two. I had like two extremes. I had the Q7
Yeah.
and the smart car. And if I put the smart car behind the Q7, it was like the Q7 had a dump, and the smart car came out.
Dang.
And you'd see people's faces. Like, I'd be walking to the car, and they'll look at me, and they'll be like, "There's no way that guy can fit." And I'll get in. You'll see that, and I'll get in.
I used to have a mini metro back in the day, and I had another large friend.
Did your knees touch your chest when you sat in that, Ralph?
No, but it did in the MX-5. It did in the MX-5. I had an MX-5 one time, and he's like a go-kart. My literal, you know, when you're in a bumper car and your knees are up to the steering wheel.
Because I can imagine that a lot of your height is actually legs as well.
It is, yeah, it is. My knees are wrapped around the steering wheel. It was crazy.
It's interesting how that can go different as well, isn't it? Because my brother, he's about the same height as you. He's 6'2.5", 6'3", something like that.
Yeah,
but he's all body. He's got a long, so he's all about the headroom, whereas you're more about the leg room, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the leg room. Definitely, I'm leggy. But let's just show the people before we get into the boxing. Back into the boxing. Let's just show the people some little clips from the Rafi's Instagram. I don't know. I don't want to get.
Border clash, you know them.
You getting ready for tomorrow, Raf?
What's happening tomorrow?
Independence Day.
Oh yeah. I'm not getting ready for it. I forgot. I will get ready for it. I'll post something up. Competition parking mode activated. Let's have a look and see how we did. This was Rafi's parking today. Competition parking. Bang!
That's like cigarette paper whip.
Bang! That was tight. I was very proud of myself because a medium-sized car had just come out of that space and it looked pretty close to me. So I thought, no chance I'm getting that in there. But I looked at it and I drove by it and I thought, I'm going to try anyway. No way did I think it was going to fit. That's a long vehicle. No way did I think that was going to fit. But it fit in there with room to spare. That's mad. Mad. Competition parking mode activated. Let's have a look and see how we did. Bang! Bang! Boom. Rafi was very happy. Rafi was very happy.
I don't think it'd get posted if you weren't.
Now, if I'd have come out with some dents now, would have left that. Rafi, how many times did you nudge the other cars? Hey, listen, I didn't nudge the otry cars this time, but I remember one time we were on a night out. I was driving a little Punto them days, 5 deep in the car, and there was nowhere around. It was late. I was going to this club, after club. Back in the day when Rafi would do those kind of things, I wouldn't do that shizzle now. I have better things to do with my time. It was small hours of the morning, and this club was jumping, and the whole area was packed with cars, and there was just one. There was just one tiny spot, and it even looked too small for the Punto. And I should have took a picture of it because you could literally only fit a cigarette box back and front. And I did do a bit of nudging on that occasion, just nudged them out of the way a little bit, but you could literally only fit a cigarette box in between the cars back and front. That was everybody got out of the car. Well, there was a couple of women in the car, but all the guys got out of the car and said, that's competition parking. It was highly impressive. I wish that, but this was back in the day. This was back in the day.
Before smartphones.
Before smartphones. Smartphones had come in, but not the camera. The cameras. Yeah, the camera. It was the early days of smartphones. They weren't that smart. They weren't that smart.
BlackBerry days, Raf.
Yeah. Around them times.
I love those days. You'd meet a girl. You'd arrange to go out.
Yeah.
And it had to happen because there was no way getting in touch.
Yeah.
It wasn't last minute, something come up. Like, no.
Yeah.
Things was done on trust then. Like, if you say you're going to do it, you actually did it.
Yeah. Simpler.
Change your bloody mind generation.
Yeah. Way simpler times. Y'all need some American muscle cars. Yo, man, them muscle cars ain't got nothing.
Our roads are too small for them, my man. Our roads could not cope.
Them muscle cars ain't got
not
nothing
even
on
that
European
quick, though.
suspensions, the European technology, man. Y'all buying the Audis now. You're buying the Audis, you're buying the Beamers, you're buying
They
the
all want Range Rovers anyway, Raf.
You all want Range Rovers and you all want Jags.
And the G-Wagons.
G-Wagon. And you're even buying Hondas now and Toyotas now. Come on, what's a Lexus? It's a Toyota,
It's
brother.
Japanese, it's Toyota, yeah.
It's a Toyota, brother. Come on now. We got all the technology. We got higher technology cars than you have. Let's face it.
F1 is far superior to anything else, and most of those
F1
cars
is
are made
superior
in
to
the
NASCAR.
UK.
F1
Made
is
in the
superior to
UK.
NASCAR. What's this? When you park like that, be careful. Somebody might hit you leaving. No. Because
if you notice,
the
car behind Rafi had got a lot of space to reverse.
A lot of space. Yeah, let me just show you,
Very
man.
safe.
Rafi ain't no madman.
Very safe.
Rafi ain't no madman. Come on,
Both
cars
Competition
ample.
parking mode activated. Let's have a look and see how we do.
Space. Look carefully. I don't even think there was anything beyond the car.
He made a fatal mistake there, Rafi, questioning your parking.
Look at the space the other one's got. Come on, you think Rafi's crazy?
So if you look at the white vehicle, Raf, behind you, he's got ample space to reverse back to that silver car and pull away.
Park behind him if you wanted. It looks like.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, just in interest of clarity, as I was filming this, and I finished filming this, the driver of this vehicle came along. So there was even more space after that. Come on, credit Rafi with a bit more intellect than that, brother. I've been doing this shizzle for a long, long time. This ain't Rafi's first competition parking event. Come on, bro. You think this is the first time Rafi's done competition parking?
Rafi is the lineal world parking champion, aren't you?
Mr. Dawkins, sorry, you were talking about Dubois and psychologically and stuff.
Yeah.
And actually, fun fact, a few months ago, I actually bumped into Dom Charles he was in the Caribbean restaurant.
Okay.
And I just heard his voice. I just said, and he was he was entertaining a lady. So I was like, are you Dom Charles? And he's like, I might be. And, it was great for him, isn't it? You're out on a date and someone like notices you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was just saying to him about talking to him about the Dubois and Usyk and the whole low blow stuff.
Hold on a second. Let me get this straight. Don Charles on a romantic date.
I don't know if he was on a romantic date. He was with a woman.
Leon Figures spots him, pulls up a chair.
No.
Poor man.
Pulls up a chair. Pulls himself a drink of Don Charles.
The food hadn't arrived yet.
Pours himself. He goes back to his table, gets a glass, pours himself.
Pulled a couple chicken wings.
Dan thought he was going to be playing all evening. He thought he was going to be jumping on the bouncy castle later. Leon deflates the castle. The lady's not happy. She's pissed off.
No, listen. My point was, it actually worked because she looked at him like, he's kind of famous. Like, it's just, it helped him, put it this way. So, then we got
just there helping the man.
Damn.
No, I mean, I was just.
Competition, parking mode.
Good. That's a good job.
No, but then the way he spoke about the whole Dubois Usyk thing with a low blow, and I realized this guy is like he works mainly on psychology with the boxers.
Yeah.
And then when you said that that's been the main difference,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, that makes absolute sense. Because
Sure.
Don Charles, the way he obviously didn't work in the ring, because in the ring he kind of crumbled after that happened. But it was how he was able to deal with it afterwards. And
that was his first fight with Don Charles, remember?
Yes. So yeah,
and actually, Don had an all right game plan going for the low blows. Because I think Don's not above saying fight dirty.
Oh, you got to do what you got to do to win the belts, isn't it? You know, it's just...
We saw that in the Hrgovic fight.
Oh yeah, headbutt him, Daniel.
Yeah,
but I think even Daniel Dubois even said it, didn't he? Like he'll do low. I think he even said it in the press conference.
Yeah. I don't think Daniel's afraid to fight dirty at all.
I mean, what did you think of the whole when he squared up to Joshua? I just didn't think Dubois was really about it.
The trouble with Daniel is, it's like when he did the smack talking with Big Baby Miller. I am not insulting Daniel for this, and this isn't meant in any way to be offensive or to undermine him.
Truly insult.
I'm not sure Daniel's playing with a full deck.
Yeah, he'll miss a load of nuance and things, isn't it?
Yeah, so he might be about what he's saying, but it'll come across in a certain way because Daniel is, in my opinion, not quite the full ticket.
He might be on the spectrum somewhere.
There's something, isn't there? In my opinion,
there's loads of things like socially awkward. You could,
exactly. But it doesn't mean say Daniel isn't ready to go. It doesn't mean Daniel is not ready to go, but Daniel is not a roadman in any way.
No.
So when he's saying he's ready to go, it's more like that Hmong kid who's going to fight you, and he really will fight you.
Yeah, but that Hmong kid who's going to fight you might be strong as shit.
Yeah, he might win.
He might win.
He might be hard as nails, Raph.
He might be strong as shit because I knew
one
of them.
I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that in any way.
He really did want to fight him.
And you know,
it's not called Hmong strength for no reason, Raph.
Well, you know.
See, I thought he actually was ready to fight him then.
Yeah,
he may well have been.
I think he was. I think there's a certain simplicity that sometimes is helpful. Sometimes
I agree with everything you guys are both saying, and I'm just saying that the way it comes across on the camera isn't the way that people are conditioned to expect somebody to sound when they're in those situations. But because it's Daniel, it might actually be more real than even when Dillian's doing it.
Yeah, because you don't have to be a road man to be tough.
No. In fact,
being a road man doesn't mean you're tough.
In my opinion, a lot of the road men aren't tough, Raph.
There you go.
It's just mouth.
Yeah.
The ones that given all the shouting and screaming, no, they're absolutely not. Because
absolutely not.
It's very rare that you'll get one that you're like when they do it, you step to them and all of a sudden they kind of crumble.
Yeah.
Well, that's their defense mechanism, isn't it? They use their mouth to scare people so they don't have to fight.
Who said it? I think Terence Crawford said it. He was just like, he's like, what are you making all this noise for? I'm right here, Me and you come outside, and I'll guarantee I'll be the only one walking back in. Like,
yeah.
That kind of tone, it just shuts them right up.
For real.
So my point about what I was saying about Daniel was actually, I think it was very real.
Yeah, I think it was real too.
But it didn't come across in a way that people see as credible because they've been so conditioned to expecting a hard man to sound like a road man, and they're not the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. But with that, we're getting out to the Instagram, and we got to talk about. I'm just interested in the heavyweights this time, guys. You can talk about the lightweights if you want to, but I just want to cover.
We might start calling them the American weights, Raph, because they have no business entering into the heavyweight conversation.
Well, like I said before, it's like America's heading into the ice age with heavyweight boxing. You know what I'm saying?
They've given us some great memories, Raph.
Hey, thanks for the memories, man. I should have said ma'am. Thanks for the memories, ma'am. Yeah. So, what's the cat's name? Andres the Ponce Ruiz versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Okay. So, I think Miller won that fight. I came in from my
I
night out
agree.
pissed off because I turned the TV on and I was watching Ruiz versus Miller. And I knew the running order. That means that I just missed what I felt was going to be the fight of the night, and having seen it, I believe was the fight of the night for me personally. So I was watching this now, the secondary fight, so I was pissed off already, and it was late anyway. I'd had a couple of drinks, and it was just a downer for me that I'd missed what I believed was going to be the fight of the night, and watching back, I believe was the fight of the night for me. And now I'm watching Ruiz get beat by Jarrell Miller. I thought it was very possible. Ruiz has been out of the ring for what 2 years or something.
He's had 2 fights in 5 years.
He's had 2 fights in 5 years. He's been out of the ring for 2 years or something, or approaching 2 years. And 2 years. And Miller has been active this year. I think he's had 3 fights this year. In the last 12 months, and lost the last one to Dubois. So he had a lot to prove. So he goes and starts training with Boots, I believe, over there in Philly, and he drops 30 pounds and looked good for it. And yeah, he came out. I can't remember what our prediction was for the fight. I can't remember if I made a prediction. But when I heard that Miller had dropped 30 pounds, and then I saw on the weigh-in that Ruiz was heavier than his last fight, I thought, nah, this don't look good. And so when I came in, the first 3 rounds were already done. I heard that he won those, so I said, okay, I gave you those. The 4th round was already done. I think I came in the 4th or the 5th round, and I think it was the 5th round. And all of those rounds, to me, apart from the 12th, were won by Miller. So if Miller wins 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or if Miller wins 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, that's 7 rounds. So he's won. And if you give the 12th round and the first 4 to Ruiz, Miller still won. So what I saw, Miller had won. And what I saw and what I heard about what I didn't see, Miller had won. They said it was a draw. I think that was a political.
Yeah, Miller said you had local judges.
Yeah, it was a political decision, and
he's just made too many enemies. He's never going to have anyone on his side.
Well, it's unfortunate for Miller, but he's just beat. The reality is that boxing fans know that he just beat Andres the Ponce Ruiz.
Yeah, but you reap what you sow, don't you?
Yeah, you reap what you sow. But I'm talking about.
I think he probably.
I'm talking about in going forward. You know that Miller beat Ruiz, so that gives him a certain amount of credibility now.
I don't know. We forget these things pretty quickly, though. Robberies.
Yeah, but I think it gives him a certain amount of credibility now because he's beat. We've seen him beat Ruiz.
Yeah, but he was
in all truth, though, Raf, just as a spectacle and as a fight,
it wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good.
Was there anything about that fight that you would really think, yeah, I'll watch that again?
No, never said I would, and I wouldn't.
No, I know. I'm just asking the question.
No,
because to me,
not every fight's scintillating. Not every fight's scintillating, though.
No, I know, but I'm just talking about the state of the American heavyweight division. I mean, you've got 2 Americans facing off there.
Well, it's a Mexican, isn't it? One's Mexican, isn't it?
Well, he's born in America, Raf.
Okay.
He's a Mexican American.
Yeah.
And you just makes you just. This is the level that it's sunk to.
He's been out for 2 years.
Slapping each other.
In fairness to Ruiz, he's been out for 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. Ruiz has been inactive, and Miller has been active in comparison. And I'm not being funny. I don't give him much credit for losing 30 pounds while in a training camp.
You got to give him credit.
Just means cheeseburgers instead of 7. You know,
I don't give him. I'm with Leon. What business have you got going into a training camp as a professional athlete when you're in a position where you're able to lose 30 pounds? I mean, what the fuck is going on?
Well, we all
Like
know these
what kind of lifestyle
well,
are
it's
you
not a sporting
leading?
lifestyle.
That's my point. So that's why I'm just like, I'm very against fighters yo-yo here, and you don't see professional athletes, as in sprinters, when they've got a whole off season getting fat, do you? It doesn't happen.
If he wasn't boxing, he'd be like Bomac.
Yeah,
The way he must eat.
And he
to get
will be.
but he probably will be. Yeah, when he
He would
finishes.
be, and he will be.
Yeah,
It's a shame. I mean, I'm just because of your diet. I mean, I'm losing weight without wanting to lose weight. I'm at a stage now where I'm having to put more carbs in my diet because my diet's too clean. I'm losing weight without trying.
yeah. Well, it depends what's coming off, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm losing without trying.
Yeah, but are you getting shredded or are you just losing muscle mass?
Well, I mean, I've lost some muscle mass and I'm getting shredded.
Well, so inevitably you're gonna weigh less. I won't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm worried because I'm used to being a bigger, heavier man. So I am concerned, a little bit
Well, I
concerned.
suppose I because of the sort of things I do, being
Yeah.
like just means that certain things are easier, so I don't mind.
Yeah, I definitely think life's easier when you're lighter.
Oh, I'm not disputing that.
But what my point is, if you should be maintaining within sort of 7 to 14 pounds, depending on what weight you fight at, to your fighting weight when you don't have a fight. So if you're a bigger guy,
especially as a
you're
heavyweight, you've not got a weight to make. Yeah, especially as a heavyweight.
Well, no, whatever it is though, because if you've got to make weight, you need to make it healthy. So whichever way it is, I would only give more tolerance to bigger people, because by definition, it's a smaller percentage of their actual total mass they're losing. So if you're like a flyweight, you probably don't want to be more than 4 pounds away from fight weight when you're in the off season. Heavyweights maybe can get away with a stone because they're so big.
Yeah,
a stone isn't really that much.
14 pounds for those who don't know.
Yeah. So depending on your size, it's really the percentage of your total mass.
But this is my point. If you're a heavyweight and you're in camp, yeah, you should be, the way you're working out, you'd be able to consume the calories anyway. So for you to be heavy, you're just eating crazy amounts.
Listen, Leon, a lot of boxing is not scientific. A lot of these top guys, they don't know what I know. They don't know about nutrition what I know. If you put me in a camp with any of these fat guys, they would lose weight, they would lose fat, and maintain a lot of muscle. They would. I know more than their people. I knew more than their people when I was a teenager. I've been reading about this shizzle. I've been studying this shizzle since I was a kid.
Forget camp, Raf. It's when they're not in camp is the problem.
Well, here's the thing.
They're not full-time athletes.
Well, here's the thing.
Don't they take over?
Here's the thing.
How are you 30 pounds overweight?
Here's the thing. Once you have a good diet, to me, a good diet includes some of the junk that you fancy every now and then. I just had pizza. I just had some pizza as my last meal, but guess what? I had chicken on top of it. You understand? And those are the little tweaks that you can have. You can still have some junk, but in moderation. And then what do you have around the junk? Well, you put it on a bed of salad, bed of greens. You put it on a bed of greens and then you put some chicken on top. You know what I'm saying? So you can still have the things you like because you're working out, you're burning up energy, but you can still have your little treats from time to time. But basically, once you've got that foundation of clean eating, 4 meals a day, clean. Listen, man, it's very easy to get light and stay light. It is easy. Easy peasy. You see my foods on Instagram on a daily basis, Leon.
Yes. I mean,
I see him too, bro.
Yeah, you see
for Bakole, Miller, and Ruiz
Mm.
to be in camp and arrive at the end of the camp looking like that. Their eating has been absolutely diabolical.
Diabolical.
Absolutely diabolical.
Well,
Because when you're that size, if you do something like cut out bloody fizzy drinks for freaking 6 weeks, you can lose bloody 28 bloody pounds. You can lose freaking 2 stones.
yeah.
It's just like they're just doing what the hell they want.
My question would be, how hard do they ever really work in camp, and what the hell are they doing when they don't have a fight?
It's still a daily workout. With a daily
They're
workout,
not ticking over. They're not. Look, let's take the opposite end of the scale.
Well, they're not. Well, they're not
When-
even eating. They're not even eating. Right.
When was the last time you saw Joshua look out of shape?
You don't.
I mean,
You look at shit.
for me, you get the Joshuas and the David Hayes that appreciate the body beautiful. Like,
I don't really.
they'd feel guilty if they don't work out and look good.
But you go to other sports, Leon. Right? You go and find me any top level sprinter who's out of shape in the off season. Go and find me a gymnast who's out of shape at any time at any point of the year. Go and find me a footballer who's really fat in the summer. All the other sports, they seem to be able to keep in shape year round. Why is it that as soon as boxers don't have a fight schedule, they think they can just go and do whatever they want?
Son.
Yeah, like Terence Crawford, another example. When have you ever seen him very far away?
Because he's always in the gym. But this is what I mean. It's people that love the gym, that love working out.
What business do you have being a professional athlete if you don't like training?
I think some people are in boxing because it is their best way to make money or the only way they know how to.
Okay, let's take a different example then. Who still follows Usain Bolt? Because I do. Have you seen how he looks now?
No. Is he still the same?
Usain's got a belly because he didn't like training, and they all used to tease him that as soon as he quit athletics, he was going to get fat. But while he was doing athletics, he never got fat. So he didn't like training.
Who's this?
And it was his route to make money, and it worked.
Who's that?
But Usain Bolt.
Oh, okay. What are you saying? He's fat now?
Yeah, he is, yeah. And they used to tease him while he was an athlete that as soon as he stopped, that's what would happen because he didn't like training.
Oh, okay.
But while he was dedicating himself to what he was doing,
he did actually train.
He trained, yeah.
Okay.
He did everything he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And look at the results. You look at the boxers who aren't doing what they're supposed to do, look at the results.
Yeah, but life
There's no
is
excuse
like
as whether you like it or not. This is your job.
Life is generally like that, though. If you do disciplined things, you will outperform people with better skill than you, and
every time.
This is what is generally happening now, isn't it? So you it's just.
Well, the thing is that is it a lifestyle? I mean, good health and maintaining healthy weight ratios, they're a lifestyle choice. They're a lifestyle.
Okay, but you're up against, I mean, speaking of somebody who's had these battles with overeating and stuff myself, you're up against the food industry that is very well versed with making you buy more food than you need and eat more food than you need. They've got MSG and stuff. They call it flavor enhancers. It's addictive freaking chemicals that make you want to eat more.
Yeah.
So you're up against advertising, you're up against addictive qualities and all these things. So it's like, I can see how people can fall into the trap.
Of course, I can see how people can fall into the trap. But what I'm saying to you is that there are people who are dedicated, who want to maintain good functionality, who want to maintain good, healthy weight ratios, who want to be supple in old age, now and later, in later years, and who want to be highly functional for a variety of reasons. And those people maintain good, healthy diets. They make sure that they have a propensity to movement. So, for example, if you don't go to the gym at lunchtime, I walk. I do a lot of walking. At lunchtime, if I'm not in the gym, I walk. I don't sit around in the canteen. I don't sit around in the car. I'm physical. And likewise, in the office, I get up and walk when I don't necessarily have to. So I get up and walk.
You should ask them for a standing desk.
Say that again?
You should ask them for one of them standing desks.
No. I mean, I've got a desk where I can stand up, where I sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. I know I might need to sit down. I know I might need to stand up in 3 seconds time, but I'll still sit down because that guarantees that I'm going to get another body weight squat in a few seconds. Do you see what I'm saying? So I look at my body, I look at my counter, my step counter, and it's always going throughout the day. That's a lifestyle choice because you want to maintain flexibility and functionality. You want to have it now, and you want to maintain as much of that as you possibly can in the future. And some of these cats in sports, some of these cats, they haven't got that memo. They haven't got that memo. Some of these cats don't realize that being obese is going to take years off their life. They haven't got the memo. They haven't connected the dots.
What I would say is this: if anybody is listening that is overweight, as long as no serious damage has been caused, not too late. You can lose the weight,
too late.
Look after your body, and it will repair itself. As long as you haven't got done any lasting damage.
It's never too late, Leon.
It's not too late.
Never too late.
Malcolm Marcel up in the building. The Philip Carrobs is up in the building. The Dr. Woodok up in the building. Mr. Coates. Adam Hurley talking about a thong. I'm not sure about what that's all about, Adam, but good luck with that, son. El Gramos and more up in the building. Now we've got to steer this back to the actual. Well, no, we've already talked about the Miller Ruiz fight. I think he won. I think the consensus is that Miller won, but it was a political decision. So be it. But I have not watched the Crawford fight. And this is the thing about the heavyweights. You have the pound for pound number one fight, arguably the pound for pound number one fighter in Crawford fighting. And really and truly, I'll catch that fight at some point, but it wasn't necessary for me to watch it on the night. Still haven't watched it. I will watch it at some point, but this is the thing about the heavyweights. You put you put the champions of every weight category in a ring, and who's going to emerge the victor? It's going to be the heavyweight. It's going to be the heavyweight, pure and simple. Most likely.
There is an exception to that.
There are exceptions to that rule sometimes, but generally speaking, it's going to be the heavyweight. So the Crawford fight, I'll watch it when I watch it, but I ain't watched it. I was more concerned, as great as he is, I was more concerned with the Bakole versus Anderson fight. That was my prime concern. And that's interesting. It's interesting. The heavyweights rule, man. The heavyweights is the blue ribbon event. It's the blue ribbon weight category. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. And it don't matter how talented he is. I'm just not that invested in it.
We're back to life isn't fair, isn't it?
Life isn't fair, brother.
The heavyweights get more than the lighter weights. It's just how it is. You can be 10 stones or 140 pounds and cry about it, but it is what it is. And that's just life. It's what people want to watch. Bigger men punching the crap out of each other and knockouts.
Listen, when you're in a boxing gym or a kickboxing gym, the gym rarely stops when it's lighter guys. Sometimes, you have lighter guys of exceptional talent and people look around, look, oh, damn, he's good. Yeah. Oh, well, they might stop there. But generally speaking, the gym only stops generally when two heavyweights get in the ring. That's when the gym stops and people stop doing what they're doing and they look around and the trainers don't tell the kids off for stopping. all the kids stop what they're doing, turn to the ring, and watch what they're doing. When the heavyweights, when you get 2 decent heavyweights in there, the gym just stops. And the trainers don't say nothing to the kids. They just let them because the trainers stop as well. And they
Talking about 2 decent heavyweights,
yeah.
where would you fit Anderson with the up and coming UK heavyweights?
He's at the bottom. He's at the bottom.
Oh come on! I think he destroys David Adelaide.
Oh no, he's not at the bottom. If David Adelaide is the bottom, he's mid tier. He's mid tier of the new crop.
Who of our up and coming beats him? Do you think Wardley beats him?
I think Wardley, Fraser Clark, they're on the same tier.
Sorry, I missed the first part of that, Leon. Who are you comparing?
Where does he rank with
He's an up and coming heavyweight. So I said, where do we compare him with the UK up and coming heavyweight?
Yeah, but so sorry, you're asking where do we compare Jared Anderson with?
What's his level? And I'm saying his level is with above Adelaide, but alongside Fraser.
I'm not so sure it actually is.
Alongside Fraser Clark and what's the guy Fraser Clark just fought?
Wardley.
Yeah,
because that's part of it as well, isn't it? I mean, look how competitive that scene is. I don't know how competitive they are at world level.
They are, yeah. They missed this bloody in the US.
They used to, like, what was it called? The US. There was they used to have a title, didn't they? And they used to recognise it as an important title.
Mm-hmm.
And that went out the window. Pardon?
The Golden Gloves.
No, that's the amateur one. They used to have like the national level, like champions as well, like the Lonsdale belt equivalent in America.
Okay.
You never even hear them fight for it anymore, to the point where I can't even remember what it is. Like,
they've gone away from domestic fights on the come up. They try and keep their bloody unbeaten record.
Yeah, exactly.
They're old too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much.
So if you look at like all of the British heavyweight boxing history, the Lonsdale belt has been competitive. Whether the winner of that belt goes on to be a flop on the world stage, European stage, or whatever, it's always a competitive fight to get to that point, and that's helped maintain interest in boxing, at least here. And I think not having those sort of levels in American boxing has actually taken away from people's interest and support of it. Yeah, I think it suffered because of it. Because I don't expect Wardley or Clark to become world champions, but I was looking forward to them fighting each other.
Yeah,
because I knew it was going to be competitive.
For real. And the ref is yawning. Anderson is mid-tier with potential. Yeah, mid-tier with potential. Mid-tier is up there. He's around the same level as I put him with Wardley and Fraser Clark. I put him at that level. But
I think Wardley smokes him easily.
Definitely be a good fight. I don't know if Wardley smokes him, but Wardley, I could easily see Wardley beating him. No problemo. Just play the demo. But we reached the 1 hour, 30-minute mark. And I don't think I've done one of these for a couple of months. So it's been good. But I'm sure everybody's got work in the morning. I know that for sure.
Way past my bedtime, Rafi.
Yeah, I've got 4 a.m. start.
Yeah,
pushing my luck.
Lord God, wow.
Yeah.
So say your goodbyes, folks. Leon Figures, it's been great hearing from you and having you.
Appreciate you allowing me to join the panel. It's been fun as always talking to yourself and John.
Absolutely, that was the Leon Figures, and well, I can't say I'm going to do it every week because man's busy. But definitely great having Leon on and the John D. Lee.
Thanks, Raf. You have a good night.
Have a good night, John D. Lee. Have a good night, the Leon Figures, and thanks for joining. Okay, so we haven't done this for a couple of months, I don't think. What happened there? both got injured in that charity football match, so it could be a lack of testing. He snapped his Achilles. Lack of testing? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Peace out. The Philip Carr Roberts. It's been a great show. Yeah, it's been great to catch up with all of y'all. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Rafi hella busy, but I've been putting out some videos. So now I'll continue to do that while I'm in the car. I got this thing where you can hold the camera. So why not? It's not eating up into my time to make a quick video in the motor. And the driving is just theater to me. It's just the different personalities, the different things that I see going on around me. I find it highly entertaining, crazy sometimes. But yeah, here it is. We're still here. Rafi's still here. We're not going anywhere. We're right here. Still here. So yeah, I'll do a live every now and then. So you ain't going anywhere. Much appreciation to everybody. And it's good night from me. It's good night from you. It's good night from us all. Blessed.